Can I get a Freddie Benson countdown to go into this?
And 5, 4, 3, 2. I know you.
That's going to be the beginning of the episode.
I actually kind of want that to be.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Creep It 100 podcast. I am your host, Mark.
It did not. I'm Mark. That's Gibson.
Oh, my God.
Did you listen to an episode before you came?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I was listening to one in the car, and you know what? I was so focused on, like, being like, and this is my co-host, Mark, that I said Mark.
This is by far the funniest intro we've had.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Hi, guys.
Unintentionally, this is the funniest. Unironically.
Yeah. All right. Well, as you can see, we're in the stew.
Yep.
We're in the new stew. Things are going great. We got a better quality camera this time. I hope so. We figured out some technical difficulties that we had last week, and you know what? To be honest with you, last week might not be a video episode.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Only time will tell.
So
and
this
by
could be-
this episode, we'll know.
This could be our first video episode, guys.
No. Ends. Halloween ends will be because that's
Never mind.
tomorrow.
Dude, we're recording stuff so out of order right now just to fit everything that, like, I don't even know what week we're on. I think this is episode 23, which is crazy. I'm going to confirm that before I just
look at the
start spouting
sketch.
shit
Look at the
off.
sketch. Yeah, because we're shooting out of schedule because we have a live stream coming up for
23.
Halloween. But Halloween Ends hasn't come out as of yet.
It comes out tomorrow as of recording this episode.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night we're going to the theater to see it, and then coming back and doing the podcast so that we can get it to you
That Tuesday.
that Tuesday, which would be like 3 Tuesdays ago that we're saying this. Because this episode's like 3 out from that.
Yeah, this is great. This is so crazy
So-
confusing.
So right now, we are living the day before the Halloween Ends episode that you guys listened to like 3 weeks ago. I know it's confusing. We're also confused. But saying that and just skipping all that because it doesn't matter at the moment. What matters today is what we're going over in the 2-part series, which is Ed and Lorraine Warren. These are the inspirations for the Conjuring movies, as well as the main characters of them. Obviously, portrayals of them. And these are a ghost hunting and paranormal investigative duo that was around from the 50s all the way up into the 90s and still helping in consulting on movies?
They're both dead. They were.
No, in the 2010s.
Oh yeah. Back then, yeah. Then they were.
Is it called consulting on movies? Like, is it like a consultant or
Yeah, I mean,
is it like a special film name? Okay.
I don't probably.
I mean, you went to like 3 months of school for it.
It was 2
You
semesters.
You didn't, you didn't learn
cock.
vocab?
It was 2 semesters. I guess it would be like a. Yeah.
Yeah, a liaison.
I don't fucking know. I've never worked with one before.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history of Ed and Lorraine Warren, a little bit about who they are, what they did. In this episode, anyway, we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about one of their most famous cases, which I'm sure is... I'd say their more famous case is Amityville.
Over.
But I feel like more people know about Annabelle, just because of the movies.
Yeah, but there have been hella Amityville movies made too.
Oh, 100%.
Like-
I was looking at it, and there was like a list, and it was like 3 scrolls long on like the computer of just shows and movies and things that have come out about Amityville.
I think the character. Did I just scare you? I think the character of Annabelle is
More iconic
more iconic
than the story of Amityville.
than the. I was gonna say the actual story of Annabelle.
Oh,
I feel like the movie character, like the porcelain doll they made,
Mhm.
is more iconic than the actual Annabelle story because it is wildly different.
Oh, 100%.
However, I think Amityville is probably their most famous case.
I would say so. I mean, that's the one that got them like really, really like into the news and like
Should put them on the map.
it did put them on the map, and that was, I believe, in like the 70s or something like that. They did that.
Yeah, it was.
So anyway, a little about Ed and Lorraine Warren. They actually met at a James Cagney movie, I believe. Cagney? Something? I don't know. He's an actor. They met in that movie in 1943
In the movie theater?
at the
Like,
movie.
seeing it.
Yeah, like they both went to go see it as strangers. Met afterwards. And then in an interview for, I believe it was The Conjuring 2, she was talking about it. Lorraine Warren was in an interview, and she was saying how they met. They met at that movie, and he walked out and offered to buy her and all her friends a Coke. And she's like, nah, I don't like Coke. I've never liked Coke. Buy me an ice cream soda. And then he made a joke being like, oh, wow, you're going to be a gold digger the rest of our life, huh?
Our life. Smooth.
Yeah, he did. And then, and she was like laughing about it in the interview. It was like a little like cute meet for them. Then,
I knew Ed was cool, but I didn't know he was that cool.
Oh, you knew he was cool. You didn't know he was smooth.
I didn't know he was smooth like that.
So, when they met, this is 1943. Obviously, we're around World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So Ed actually got drafted and deployed almost immediately after they met.
No shit.
Yeah. Super, super fast after they met. They stayed together, and then his ship got sank. I'm hazy on if it's a ship or a submarine. But whatever it is, it got sank, and there was only 69 survivors, and he was one of them. So upon his return, because he got, I think it's called survivor's discharge.
Okay.
When you go through something really crazy like that, they just let you out. They're like, bro, you can go if you want. That shit was crazy. Sorry, you can go. And so that basically happened. And then they got frantically married because they were like, holy shit, you shouldn't be alive. Let's live. They got married right after he came back. Then he joined into an art class, and he actually was going to become an artist. Was his next goal in life.
Really?
Yes. Which ties into how they started the paranormal activity. Actually, so what they would do is...
Wait, that makes sense, because in the movies, he's a painter. Yeah.
Yep, that's real.
Making art.
Oh, yeah, no, he really did. And basically how this all started and how they started doing the paranormal investigation is started talking about his childhood home to Lorraine and saying that he basically lived in a haunted house. And crazy shit would happen to him all throughout childhood. They both started getting super, super interested in this, and realized that they had a mutual love for paranormal that they just never talked about. They it was one of those things where you you don't tell someone you just met
okay,
hey, you fuck with ghosts.
I was fucking with some demons the other day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's so they finally got to that point, and they were
That's
both
at least 6 months in. You say you drop a hint.
When it was. Probably when this was. So yeah, and what they started to do is they would figure out where a house that was somewhat haunted was, or that they had heard stories about. They would go to the house, they would pull up in front of it, and then he would get out a little sketch pad, and he would sketch the house in as much detail as he possibly could for half an hour, just sitting outside of it. Then he would give it to Lorraine, the sketch, tell her to go to the door, and hand it to him, in hopes that would get them talking enough to ask for a tour of the house, and then to eventually do an investigation.
Interesting. Okay.
That's how they wiggled their way in.
Finesse.
Yeah. That's how they finessed their way into the door. And doing this is that they did this over and over and over again. This is how they started to investigate. And then by 1952, this is actually when they founded that the New England Society for Psychic Research, NESPR.
What?
NESPR.
Nesper?
NESPR. This is basically their ghost hunting hub.
Oh.
It's basically what
Mystery Incorporated.
Yes, exactly. Actually, yes. Deadass. This is their Mystery Incorporated. However,
it's their treehouse.
Yeah, it's like if Mystery Incorporated accepted freelance. So, they would have people come in and basically work under their title.
What the fuck?
I saw that earlier. There's a little cross sitting on the on the recording table.
I don't know if you can see this.
Is that an earring?
It has to be.
It looks like an earring.
I don't know how I ended up over here during this episode.
Oh.
That's spooky.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to hang on to it. I think that's a sign.
Okay, yeah, you might need to.
Now I'm scared.
So, yeah, you could work under the name of NESPR for your own research purposes. And it was if they found, you would come to them with a haunting. If there was any legitimacy to it, they would basically pay for your investigation into the haunting through NESPR. So they started coming up with this really they had a lot of, they were big Catholics, so their belief was more centered on the fact that demons were the thing that caused hauntings,
Demons bad.
not ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts were like just kind of there, and demons were the only thing that could actually fuck with shit. And that they also believed that a lack of faith in God could invite these hauntings in. So
I just remembered there was a Conjuring 3. I just remembered that.
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, Conjuring. Like
The Devil Made Me Do It.
Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
That's
the one that was shot in Sonoy.
that's also the one that is about one of their like. Is about a story that like was like inspired by real life as well, about where there was this murderer who he like killed someone and then he claimed that like the devil made me do it, and Ed and Lorraine were big supporters of him being like, yeah, he's right, he got possessed, that's the only reason he murdered someone, like let him out. And a lot of people did not fuck with them for that. A lot of people were pissed that they were like taking a murderer's side. It was a big source of tension and controversy like when it happened, and it almost discredited them completely.
No way.
Yeah, it was I forget the name of the guy, but
The movie was mid.
that's what, because the devil made me do it is the claim that he makes in court. That's what he said in real court, and that's why it's named that, and that's why that phrase is accompanied with Ed Lorraine Warren.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the one thing that they believed
I'm still laughing at our intro.
one thing that they believed that was very special and like, you know, separated them from everything was that Ed had Lorraine, and Lorraine was supposedly psychic and like very lightweight clairvoyant as well.
A little bit of a medium. A little bit of a Long Island medium-y.
She said she was like very like she could feel shit. She couldn't really do anything about it. She couldn't like use the powers that she possessed. She just was very aware of everything. She had like a heightened awareness to all this. So she could see things, and like she could like, you know, she could tell when there was entities around and everything like that.
I feel like that's a curse. I don't think that's a gift.
I guess it depends.
I wouldn't want that. I would be so scared.
It'd be nice for a warning.
A warning?
She's like a walking alarm of a demon coming too close.
I mean, that's...
Which could be nice in Paranormal Investigation.
She could be my friend. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, just like in bed at night, like Ed's just like Ed's deep in the fucking me, and then
Catch an actual Z's.
Yeah. And then she's Ed, there's some shit at the end of our bed, huh?
Yeah, I wouldn't want that,
bro. I'd be scared.
Ed, wake up! New demon just dropped.
New demon dropped. Babe, wake up! Tom DeLonge just rejoined Blink 182.
It's actually nuts. It's a damn shame we're not going to see them because nuclear war is about to happen.
Oh yeah, you know. We'll see in 4 weeks when this episode comes out.
We'll see if this episode comes out.
Guys, if you're hearing this, it's a good sign.
Yeah, if this episode comes out, we're still doing okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be forever part of history. And we just made a fucking joke about it.
I know, right? Right. This is gonna be like a recording that you hear in like when like the new civilization comes up, and then like they're like playing like old audio clips of war and like Fallout 900.
And for some reason we sound like really old timey.
Yeah, they're putting us like on like a saxophone like thing, so it's like
nuclear war.
Our voices change. We have like inflection that we didn't have before. They're like, nuclear war. Will you be a part of it? Just, huh? We're like listening. We're still alive. We're like, yo.
I remember recording that.
We didn't say it like that.
I have the raw footage still.
We pull it up and it's like, it's changed. The raw footage still has that. We're talking old timey for some reason.
Oh man, that would be an episode on its own. That'd be spooky.
That would be spooky. That'd be our Mandela effect. Our own real life one. So, about these psychic powers that she claimed to have, she said that she got these powers as a child, but only started tapping into them now as an adult because she finally understood what they were. She said she always saw weird shit and like felt weird shit. She also
by
said,
seeing weird shit, like because I mean we've seen some weird shit.
No, she could like literally like see the spirit in the room.
Okay.
She said that when she walked into the Poltergeist one. That's the Conjuring 2 is based off.
Mm.
She said that the first time she went in that house, she literally turned the corner and saw it. saw it move around the room. And then she saw it again when the daughters were sitting there. She saw it like all 4 of the daughters like came together and they were sitting there to introduce themselves to her. And then she saw it like standing in the back row, like in between them.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was really fucking
gross.
creepy. Yeah. She said she also claimed that she was able to see light around people from like a super young age, like seeing like their like auras and stuff like that, and like seeing like the energy come out of people. She said she had no idea what the fuck that was. She thought like that was just like a thing that everybody saw, so she never mentioned it. And then she found
Wouldn't
out
you
about,
love
like,
to know if like someone had a bad vibe right off rip? Like
yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be fantastic.
It's like, oh. Avoid that person. Their aura is weird.
Eventually, in doing like all these investigations and everything, which I will get into a few of the investigations later, I'm just gonna gloss over for the moment. As they're doing them and they're going about, all of a sudden now they're coming into contact and they're coming into possession of a bunch of fucking haunted shit. They have a bunch of haunted shit, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, where are we gonna put all this? I'm taking this out of the house so that they can be cool, but now I have it. Like, what? I don't know what to do.
Requirements, baby.
Literally. No, they actually wanted to start a thing like that, and they wanted it to be originally the museum that it is now. Well, it's now closed because everybody's dead. But
wait, where's Annabelle now?
There.
She's still there?
She comes out on special occasions.
She comes out on special occasions.
Yeah, deadass. She's gonna be at a convention in like a week, actually. That's where I think the museum is in Connecticut.
Yeah. And
there's an event happening near the museum, and they're bringing the doll there to the event. It's like an Ed and Lorraine like expo.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, and they're bringing the doll. Now basically the museum is what it was intended to be in the first place. So what they wanted it to be is they wanted it to be like a vault. Like they wanted to just have this room that like they could like completely like categorize and itemize all these haunted items and
25,000 downloads and we'll take Chorsey there. Make him touch everything.
Dude, facts. I will throw the doll at Chorsey for 25,000 downloads. 25,000 downloads in the next like 2 months.
Unrealistic.
That's what I'm saying. I'll throw the doll.
Oh, I'll touch Annabelle for that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll risk my own life for a goof.
Yeah, you know what to do. Share the pod. To get
Tyler?
Hey, we're talking directly to you right now. Pinto Gang. We're talking to you. I can't wait to see that clip on his story. So, they eventually became open to the idea of making it to like a museum as long as people like respected all the items and didn't fuck with them. And so that's what they did. They opened up the museum of haunted artifacts and everything, and they just tell people, don't fuck with anything in here or you're gonna get spooked at home. It might follow you home.
Chorsey.
Yep.
Take notes.
Exactly.
Because you're gonna be touching all of it.
True. You're gonna be walking along like this, just touching everything in the aisle.
Oof, my man's not gonna make it out of there.
No.
Demon's gonna a portal to hell's gonna open right there, and he's gonna get dragged
under
in.
his feet.
Yeah. And we're gonna be without a fucking producer.
We're gonna take over the company.
Well, no, we have Dakota.
Yeah, this is gonna be our corporate takeover.
Dakota, you're next.
Yeah, true.
You're gonna you're coming along to Connecticut too, Dakota. You're not safe. You were never safe. That false sense of security you feel, not real.
So threatening. Imagine just him listening to this. I'm just picturing him listening to this.
Oh, because I know he's gonna listen to this because he listens to all of our episodes. I think he's gonna listen to.
Yeah. Now that's so funny. Just imagine him just like alone in his room, just like sitting there like.
Right now his eyes are at his window.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking for us.
Yeah, his eyes are darting between the window and the door, hoping, even states away, hoping that we haven't showed up yet.
That or he's just cheesing right now.
Yeah, one of the two. They did end up writing a ton of books about these cases and all their experiences. The Warrens did, and they made all of their money off of these books, interviews, and movies. They did not charge ever for their services or any of the cases that they went on. That was purely just to help people. because they believe that was like the Catholic thing to do. And a lot of the people that were involved in all these cases say that they were very polite, nothing but helpful, and like they, saved a lot of people. But now that we know like a little bit about them, I'm going to go into one of their most notable cases of over 10,000 cases that they claim to have been a part of. And we're going to go into that case right after this break. Hey everyone, this is Kinson from the Creep at 100 podcast. Today I'm here to talk to you about Skillshare. Skillshare is a platform where you can explore thousands of hands-on creative classes to better yourself in any area. These areas include TV, film, animation, creative writing, music, design, illustration, photography, anything you could think of. Whether you're here to just learn a new skill or learn how to start a small business, they have classes for everyone on Skillshare. Exclusive for our listeners, guys, you can go on and you save 50% when you sign up for an annual plan. Make sure to click the link in our description below to sign up for your free trial and join Skillshare today. It really is one of the best places to learn any new skill, and I promise you guys will not regret it. Sign up for Skillshare today. All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you for listening to those ads. Thank you for keeping on this ring light at the studio. So, like I said, we now just went over a little information about the Warrens and, some early life stuff. And now we're going to get into one.
Can you go over all that again? I wasn't listening.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, the Warrens are... So, we're going to go into the... Did we talk about this at the beginning of the episode? Or did we talk about this off camera?
What?
Annabelle versus Amityville. Was that the top of the episode?
I think that was top of the episode.
was that before we hit record?
I don't remember.
Was that pre-production?
I think that no. I think that was after record.
Okay, cool.
So I think they heard it with us. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. But we're gonna be talking about the case of Annabelle, the doll, which I'm sure all of you have probably seen, heard about, some sort of connection to that. I mean, the movies were huge. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, we got the dolls out for this one. This is one of the reasons that my mom is freaked out at dolls. Just because of this story.
Really?
Yeah. Which I mean, I feel like that's probably the case with a lot of people. Is that this story made them freaked out by dolls. So, in a series about Ed and Lorraine Warren, it's almost impossible to talk about the Warrens without mentioning Annabelle. This case actually was not noticeable, nobody cared about this case until the movies really came out and they started making. I need a doll?
Yeah, grab Chucky.
Okay. Is he okay to grab, or is a bunch of shit gonna fall?
I think he's cool. Good catch.
All right, guys.
This episode's sponsored by dolls.
So it's sponsored by dolls. So, when this case actually happened, nobody really gave a shit. This was more so of a movie care than when it actually happened in real life. And this thing does move. The doll that's on my shoulder moves, and if it starts moving, I'm going to throw it.
He's turned off, so he shouldn't. But there have been times where he has.
I'm definitely gonna throw it.
I don't know what's up with this doll, but he just moves on his own.
This one does actually. And I think we talked about at the beginning of the episode, if that really was, is the original doll is actually a lot nicer and more innocent looking.
It's a Raggedy Ann doll.
It's a Raggedy Ann doll. And so the origin of this doll was that a nurse named Donna received this doll as a gift in 1970. Like we said, it's a Raggedy Ann doll, and she brought it home from then. She lived with her roommate Angie and then her fiance Lou. And they said that the doll was super fun for everybody, and they actually all enjoyed having the little quirk of having the doll there. And the reason they enjoyed it and thought it was a fun little thing is because the doll moved. The doll, they were like, "Oh, it's funny." The doll's keep in mind
that doll's quirky.
Yeah, keep in mind this isn't in the height of the 70s is what started the spark of the paranormal and ghost hunting and things like that. So before that, and especially in 1970, nobody's thinking ghost immediately.
No.
It's just not a common thought that's going on. So they're like, something weird's going on. I think they all secretly thought it was each other.
Oh, like fucking with each other?
Yeah. So they were like, oh, it's like a fun little thing that they do. Like when I lived with Tim, me and him had this like little game where there was this little jade elephant that we had in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then one person would find it, and then we would hide it somewhere else. And then
I remember that.
Yeah, and then when the other person found it, they would take it out of that hiding spot and then place it somewhere else for you to find. I think they thought it was kind of a thing like that. In the only thing that I don't know is they said that it was funny because it would always fall off chairs too.
Quirky.
Like
that doll is silly.
It's a silly guy. So
there's nothing evil about that at all.
No. They liked it, and I guess whatever. It's a fun little game for them. Cool, playing with shit they don't understand. Sometimes it even would like change positions that it was left in, and they thought it was just funny, and they thought it was like a cute little mystery, and they thought that it could be easily explained away. Probably just how me and you just did it, like just being like, oh, it was fucking Lou, which by the way, Lou fucking hated the doll from the beginning. It was like 2 days of being funny, and then he was like, nah.
So who's Lou?
Lou's the fiance of the roommate.
Gotcha.
Lou hated the doll because the one time that it was like, well, I didn't move it, and well, I didn't move it, it must have been Lou, and Lou knew it wasn't him, he didn't like that shit. He got freaked out.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
he was like, nah, because I'm panicking and saying like, oh, this wasn't me, but he knows it wasn't him. So like he's actually freaking out about it. So all of a sudden, notes started appearing on parchment paper around the house, which was fucking weird because they didn't carry parchment paper in the house because it's not 1800.
I remember this.
So they start looking at this like parchment paper and there's these little notes, and it's like a child's handwriting, and it's asking for help over and over again. They're finding him constantly, and then one day Donna gets home, and there's red liquid coming from inside the doll, seeping out of the hands. And she's like, what the fuck? And she's freaked out because she is a nurse and she knows that shit's blood. That's the exact consistency, color, smell, everything of blood. What the fuck? She calls in a medium because now she's freaked out. It's no longer cute to them, and they're like, now they're starting to tweak a little bit. They call in the medium, and during this seance that they're having with the medium, she says that it's a 7-year-old girl is attached to the doll because the apartment complex was built on where she had died previously, I guess. Okay. Full name of the girl she revealed was Annabelle Higgins. That's why they named it Annabelle, obviously, and that's where the name never existed before that. It started on that day. And the fact that this like little girl came through and was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm just here because, it's where I died, and he finally brought like a little toy and made me, I liked it, so I attached myself to it. They were like, oh shit, we feel bad now. It wasn't like a scared thing. And so they decided to keep it, like, because we just have a fucking haunted ass little girlfriend in the house. I guess we have a fourth roommate who's a specter. And then right after this is when Annabelle actually started to like attack. So Lou woke up one night, and this is what he says. This is I don't know. I don't know about this. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, oh, that's scary, and then I pictured it, and it lost all scariness to me. So Lou says that he woke up and saw Annabelle like climbing up his leg up to his chest, and then tried to choke him out. And
with his little cotton hands.
With his little cotton hands that are round.
Yeah,
there's no thumbs.
Unless it like wrapped its like. That's the only way I can picture it. It's if it like wrapped its entire body around its neck.
The visuals of this don't make sense. Even the crawling shit. and then it getting up and like sitting down on his chest to be like.
To be real, if I saw a doll crawling like that, I would. I mean, it's funny as fuck hearing about it, but if I was in his shoes, I'd piss myself.
Fuck no, I wouldn't piss myself. It's a doll.
I kick its ass.
That's what I'm saying.
But I would
That's
still piss
what
myself.
I'm saying I'm throwing paws at this
We're
fucking
ripping
doll.
its head off,
I
bro.
promise you.
Fireplace. Fireplace. I think that's
Just
how
in it?
Yeah, just.
You have time to light a fire. It's not one just roaring in the back.
I mean, it's a doll. I'll put it in a box.
It's active.
And then light a fire.
It's active.
What are you gonna do?
You don't get minutes to just start fires. You don't got time to fucking.
Listen, bro, it's a doll. I can store that thing in a little wooden box with a lock on it until I get the fire going. Once the fire's going, just
So
I do the thing where I unlock the box and it like runs out into the fire.
You're walking over to the fireplace. The box is like jiggling, dude. The box is shaking. You're shaking. You're scared as fuck.
Let me out! Let me out!
Yeah, you're hearing them cotton hands smack that fucking box. You're hearing.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. Oh, bro, and you're shaking, dude. You're scared.
Crying.
Oh, dude, there's sweat.
Tears.
There's sweat in the temple. There's and like you're looking around at like your roommates. They're like around you and they're like they've helped with the fire and containment, and like they both got wide eyes, dude. There's fear in the room. Imagine now, you're going to the fire and you're doing the thing where you're gonna open up the chest at the fire so that hopefully it jumps out and jumps into the fire on accident, right? It doesn't. It crawls around the side. It's on you. What are you doing next?
It starts wailing.
What are you doing next? What's your next thing?
I jump into the fire.
Self-cleanse.
Yeah, I don't want that thing crawling up on me like that again.
Ew, bro. Because it clearly crawls because it crawled up his leg.
Yeah. I wonder how fast it moves. I wonder if it's
Ew.
like I wonder if it's like super like agile.
That's what I'm saying. What if it crawls around the side of the box, like up towards you, and then you're sitting there. You can't hit it. You got a box in your hands. And so, I mean, I know you're gonna drop it, but like, there's only so much you can do from a box holding position to a punch. You don't have a lot of.
Well, if there are
power
roommates
can be
there, they're gonna obviously they're gonna run up and help.
Maybe.
I hope.
Maybe, dude. There's fear in the room. They could be frozen. That could freeze a man.
Did it? What did he do when he saw Annabelle choking him?
Nothing, bro. He blacked out.
It got him?
He blacked out and woke up and was like, bro, I don't know, but I'm low-key sure that this thing choked me the fuck out last night. And then let me live. It was a power play. It was purely a dominance thing. So
I would go find it and do the same thing. I would crawl up on Annabelle and just
yeah, imagine you're like doing that and then just like one little hand goes casual as hell. Or you just hear, I'm a doll. Like, this is not going to do anything.
I don't have nerve endings.
Literally. So.
You win this round, doll.
Alright, dude. He goes back to his room, like, casual, like, without doing anything about the doll. Leaves it there. So.
Starts planning.
So, one day while Donna's at work, Lou and Angie actually hear a noise from her room. They go in, and then they see, like, it's like one of those things where they, like, open the door, and they see, like, catch, like, the last motion of it, like, moving somewhere.
Annabelle?
Like, yeah, like, it was moving around. They open the door, it notices the door's opening, and then just, like falls.
Did
like,
the Andy's coming?
Yeah, they did an Andy's coming, but they saw that shit, and they know they saw it. They both saw it. And then all of a sudden, he's sitting there, and then claw marks start to develop on his chest as he's standing in the doorway. So now
that ain't no little girl.
Yeah, so now he's certain that this thing doesn't fuck with him, because the blacking out thing, like, he gave it a low key excuse of being like, that could have been a crazy nightmare. I just don't know. So around this time is when the case actually reaches the Warrens, and they interview the roommates. They investigate the doll. And they conclude that a demonic spirit had attached itself to the doll, but had not possessed it. Because they believed that inanimate objects could not be possessed, only attached to. So, like, dolls can't be possessed. Like, random items cannot actually have, like, a demon inside of it. It's just something that they've, like, latch to, and that's where they'll follow.
Okay.
Well, there's a big counterclaim, kind of like to that, because like they have it in the glass box now, like the actual real doll exists in the glass box now. But we'll talk about that in a second. So they decided to do a spiritual cleaning of the apartment.
After this, think, bro, like if a demon's attached to the doll, is it in the box or outside of the box?
That's exactly what I'm going to talk about right after this.
Oh,
because of what happens with this doll.
Okay.
So, Donna wanted this doll gone now that it's doing shit. So Ed took it and brought it back to the museum. However, he said that on the drive home with this fucking doll was like the worst trip of his life.
Yeah, I didn't like the engine die and like all this shit happened in the car.
So the steering wheel kept fucking up. His brakes just stopped working hella times. His engine broke down at one point. He had to literally soak the doll in holy water to get it to like stop fucking with his car, just so he could get home.
I shouldn't be laughing because he could have died, but
he could have died. And Annabelle fucking with cars is a continuing theme that continues to happen even after they bring it back.
Who the fuck let her out the case?
No one. That's the thing.
Uh-oh.
That's the argument of. If they put it in the case and it can still fuck with shit, what the fuck is the case
Okay,
for?
let's get to it. Now, I need the answers like now.
So, when they brought it back to the museum, they just put it in a chair originally.
Okay.
Because just like every other haunted thing in their collection, it was just sitting up on a shelf. But it kept moving around and it kept like going to different locations. So one day they didn't see it in the chair, and then they had a priest over for whatever reason. The priest went over, picked it up, and was like fucking with it. And it was just like kind of just like looking at it and be like, oh wow, this is the doll, cool, and then like toss it back. And Ed literally cannot believe the disrespect that this priestess had, being like, he literally was like, come in, don't fuck with anything. He fucks with it. On his way home, his brakes stop, and he almost fucking dies. He gets into a crash. Yeah. He gets like T-boned, and he almost dies. Because he fucked with the doll.
I knew that story.
So, then the Warrens, that's when they put it in the case. They put it in this big glass case, which is surrounded by like different wardings, and that's still where it is today. So another man and his GF.
You texted?
I wrote GF, that's why I said that. Another man and his girlfriend came into the museum one day and started fucking with the doll. And basically what happened is they ran in, they wanted to see the museum, they saw the doll, and they're like, oh, what's that? They told him that that's an Annabelle doll. And they said, listen, you're more than welcome to look around this museum. It's a self-guided tour. Hang out. However, whatever you do, don't go touch that thing, because that's the Annabelle doll. And I don't know if you caught up on History of Us, but that thing doesn't fucking like you. Stay away. So obviously the first thing they go do is they start taunting and fucking with it. Get in the car, drive home, halfway through, crash dead. Both of them got killed by the doll. Which
I don't understand.
Exactly. Which is why the argument lives of if it can affect things like the brakes of your car after you've already left, what's the box?
Yeah, why is it in the case?
Is that like the minimum? Is that like it can only control so much power, but it still has more power after that, and that can still fuck with brakes? Or is it just for like just putting it in a box?
I mean, there are far too many coincidences with cars and stuff.
Mm-hmm. You would also think that something powerful enough to stop brakes and get people into car crashes could also have the power to open a box.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, that's the biggest...
At least knock it off the shelf.
Yeah, something. That's the biggest, like, back and forth that they have with the doll, is they don't understand...
That frustrates me a little bit.
Yeah, they just don't... people just don't understand, why is it in a box? What is the box doing? Because apparently not much.
Let's go to Connecticut and fuck with it.
Oh, great.
And fly home. See if it can get to a plane.
That's like the... you remember the... What was it? The Daybook box? Or whatever? Mm-hmm. With Post Malone and Ghost Adventures Zach Bagans?
Yeah.
Where they got drunk and fucked with the haunted box, and then Post Malone almost died 3 times.
Yeah, and he was like... Wasn't he like really upset about it?
Oh, he was freaking the fuck out. He thought he was gonna die. He believes in all that shit. So him and the host
Zach Bagans.
Yeah, the host of Ghost Adventures, Zach Bagans, went and fucked with this thing because Zach Bagans also has like a haunted museum like this. It's on the Las Vegas Strip. And they fucked with his box. Right after that, on the way home, Post Malone got into like a 15-time turnover in his car and like almost died. He then got on a plane, and when he was going to land, the landing gear didn't come out.
God damn.
So he like almost crashed in the plane, and then the car that took him from the plane away almost fucking crashed too. And then he did something. Him and Zach got back together, did like some cleansing thing, and then it was chill. But yeah, that's like the same kind of thing as this Annabelle, where it's just like
how do you cleanse something? Sage?
An item?
Holy
or
water?
like yourself?
A room, like my basement.
Well, first, it's not possible to totally cleanse this room until the actual identified object is out. So you would need to identify one object or the objects, get them out, and then you can like basically like clean up the rest of
Does it have to be attached to something?
I think it has to be tied to an object, or I think it can be tied to a location as well.
What do you think the thing that was down here was?
Well, I don't think you brought anything in.
You think it was already here?
I think it was a location, and I think you know what I think it is. To be honest with you, I think that in that experience, the more that we became interested, it was kind of like a what are those things called? It's like the things that like it's the things that become more real with more belief.
Oh my God! There's a word for that.
Yeah, it's. I keep wanting to say a djinn, and it's not a djinn.
No, it's
a djinn is like the other creature.
Is it It starts with an M, doesn't it?
I'm not sure. I cannot remember, but yeah, it's like a thing because like
Do you think the more we believed it, the more? Because I mean, I guess that would make sense. Because the more
it was a location tied, we started messing with stuff. We started believing in all that stuff more. We started messing with things more like that, and then it just got progressively bigger and stronger and worse, till it was like just here, because there was
literally standing right where you are.
There's nothing that was brought in that would have brought it with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't bring in any fucking haunted object.
I don't think so. Unless it could have been something from eBay, I guess. But we're fucking with that. The Ouija board.
Yeah.
So maybe we just like fucking spoke it into existence.
Yeah. Honestly, that's like, yeah.
I know that's a thing.
I know. I'm about to look it up.
I didn't really believe in that shit. Now I'm kind of forced to. I think we're forced to. You were there for all of that.
Yeah.
But to make a long story short, podcast listeners, we fought a specter. The end.
We did.
And won.
God, I just cannot remember for the life of me what that's called. But
I don't think I would have believed it until it showed itself. That was the telling. And I know I wasn't fucking crazy because
yeah,
my girlfriend saw it too.
We had audience members.
Yeah, and that's when I knew it was like, all right, well.
You know what I still think? Like even after all of that, I still think the absolute scariest thing in the entire of anything we've done like that
is the back door.
Yes.
That is, I mean, that's top 3. I mean, you didn't see him.
No.
That's number 1.
I think that followed by the no.
Oh, yeah.
And then just for pure value, it calling Aaron ugly. I think those are my top 3. I think
that was a weird ass era.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird era.
I wish we could.
We should have recorded all that.
We don't have time on this episode, but I wish we could go into those like 3 things just like real quick, like just explanations. Honestly, maybe at the top of the next one.
Yeah, top of the next one.
But,
top of the next one.
So
you guys are gonna have to wait a week to hear about this.
So getting back to it, I will say that Ed and Lorraine stories do not end here, but you know what does? Our podcast. So we're gonna see you guys next week.
You know what does? This episode, baby.
Where I'm going to tell you about a few more interesting cases and why some people think that Ed and Lorraine might have been making all this shit up for a little ghost clout. Alright, so we will see you next week for Ed and Lorraine Warren, Part 2. As always, guys, follow us on everything. It is CreepIt100 on all social medias. If you want to go ahead and contribute to the podcast, we have a monthly subscription set up underneath all episodes. It's going to be in the link right there. You can subscribe any amount of money per month. Really helps the show, supports us,
Helps us get interviews.
helps us get stews like this, dude. You don't even... Keep
the
us in the-
more money we get, the more high quality
Yeah.
our show will be.
Listen, all I'm saying,
I'm not asking you to donate, but I am.
but I'm saying, the more you donate, I'm gonna be rolling here with a few fancier shirts. Okay, I'm gonna have a few new jackets on, and when that happens, just know that you guys are doing good.
I'm just gonna
And-
use that money for interviews. So the minute you see an interview, it's because you guys.
Yeah. And the minute that you see me in a 2022 line of clothes, just know you boys are doing good. Boys are doing good around here. Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
See you next
We'll see you next
episode.
week.